Berserker. A term not many species in the galaxy have, so when it's mentioned by the few that do, translators get screwy. That's why, when I heard the word come from an older-looking Zion during one of their stories, I was confused, mainly due to the fact I didn't know the meaning of the word, or how a Zion would even know it. So I approached him to ask him its meaning, and listen to the story. I found a seat opposite to the Zion at his table. The sounds of the bar seemed to grow hushed, not many wanting to interrupt the story of an elder, even if this was a public place. I cleared my throat to speak, managing to find my voice in the deafening silence. Berserker? What does this word mean, elder? The older Zion took a moment, their four eyes blinking at different intervals as they focused onto me. The sight was a natural one that elders displayed when deep in thought, so I was fairly certain my answer was coming. What is the word you ask? The elder spoke once again, his mandibles clacking together with each word. It could be considered similar to that of the word warrior, fighter, or even indomitable. Perhaps it is best explained with a story. The elder lifted up a slim pipe and placed it between their mandibles, taking a deep breath before blowing out the purple haze. It was quite a while ago. So many cycles ago you may not have even hatched. The elder's voice spoke, as it felt as if his story was playing within his mind. Human, you must escape, it's me they're after. The elder, who was far younger in this tale, was clutching a wound that bored deep into his lower torso, his exoskeleton fractured and burned. The human wasn't much better off, burn marks covering his upper torso and legs, his clothes in tatters from the run so far. They were both in an abandoned building, a bunker of sorts, the ground around them shaking from explosions as the ice floe blasted their way deeper. What a load of shit, Merc. Leave you? The human wiped some blood from his chin, the sight causing Merc great pain. He hated to see his friend in such a state, especially due to his own personal blood feud. Listen, Merc, there's a ship nearby. We just need to make it there and get off planet. The Ithai won't have enough time to get back to their own ship before we've jumped halfway to the next system. The human, as damaged as he was, still had eyes that shone with vigour and determination. It was a rare sight, seeing so clearly the emotions of a human. Yet Merc had spent years with this human. They'd come to learn how to spot such emotions. Fine. Let us go, my friend. One last wild run. Merc rose to his feet, his damaged exoskeleton cracking further, causing him to wince. Walking would be nearly impossible, but he could manage. The human seemed to have a different idea. He easily lifted Merc up, grunting from it, as he carried Merc in what the human would have considered a bridal carry, though to Merc he was just being carried. Do you plan on carrying me the whole way? You won't make it. Shut it. We both know your body wouldn't even last halfway, so just hold on. The human bent down, his muscles visibly contracting. The body of the Death Welder was still amazing to Merc at times like this, even after so many years of knowing him. It was even more exhilarating once the human began running. It felt like they were flying by. It was amazing, otherworldly, but the fascination didn't last long. A hail of plasma balls came flying around them the moment they exited the building, and the human pressed Merc tight against his chest, bundling up the somewhat smaller alien. The human gritted his teeth as time and time again plasma balls slammed into his back, his thighs, his calves. Normally plasma balls felt like a summer day, but these newer tips burned with each hit, and he could feel his legs wanting to give out. Just as those thoughts entered his mind, the ship came into view. Right there. It was right there. Even so, the human, the mighty human who had shielded Merc throughout the entirety of the run before this, began to stumble. He caught himself just barely as he fell to a knee. The ship was before them, and even closer was a growing number of Ithai mercenaries blocking the path. Merc, make it to the ship. There's an onboard medical assistant robot meant exactly for these types of getaways. The human's voice was unwavering, and he slowly lowered Merc to his feet. Merc, however, couldn't believe his ears. This sounded as if the human didn't believe he could make it. Merc began to raise his voice in protest, but the human shot him a single cold glare the moment his mandibles clicked together. Go. I'll clear the way. You just have to make it onto the ship. Ready? The last word was what contained any other emotion besides determination. In that single word remained the human Merc had known for so long. Merc couldn't say anything in protest. Even now the mercenaries were still firing, each shot bringing the human closer and closer to death. He had to act. He had to act now. I'm ready. Let's do this. I'll see you on the ship, Merc said. Even now still hopeful, his mind so far off with the wound still burning against his chest. The human took a deep breath and rose to his fullest. Both the human and Merc broke into dead sprints forward, however it wasn't even a contest. It looked like the human was a blur, and as he crashed into the mercenaries blocking the path, he unleashed a battle cry. It rocked the surrounding as if a great explosion had gone off. Mezec and the mercenaries were all stunned by it, but Merc gathered himself faster. He ran as fast as his wounded legs could take him, ignoring the pain. He ran and ran, all the sounds of plasma bolts hitting flesh began again. But the sound was accompanied by that of screams, of limbs being torn off. As Mezec reached the ship's lower staircase to enter the bridge, he turned back, and his heart sank. He saw the human, his friend for so long, surrounded on all sides by the Aether mercenaries. The human's body was covered in blood, both his own and the Aethos's, and yet he continued to fight, not once looking back. Mezec heard the human's voice echo in his mind, and yet he couldn't just leave, not as he recalled everything this human had done. His friend was buying time for escape, but Mezec had other plans. But they were crazy. The type of crazy that comes from being friends with a Death Order. He ran onto the ship and powered it up. However, he bypassed the engines powering up and went for the weapons. These were meant for ship-to-ship combat, and throwing them into that crowd would vaporize the Aether mercenaries. He saw the turret, aiming it down at the brawl that was steadily turning in favor of the mercenaries, even though the humans still crushed the ribcage of one and destroyed the skull of another. Mezec grabbed the comms device and tuned to the outside speakers. "My friend, you better survive this blast!" Mezec's voice was hoarse as he yelled out. The human turned for a moment, gazing at the ship, and then the turret that loomed above him. Then the human smiled. Smiled! Even while the Aether mercenaries were stunned in fear, the human seemed pleased. Mezec was afraid. He didn't know if this would kill his friend. He had no real experience with ship weapons. He steeled himself and hit the trigger, and in the same moment the human willed every fibre of his being to move, even as his legs were charred, stabbed and slashed. He took one step and then managed to throw himself forwards as a massive ball of plasma collided with the ground, obliterating in part of the docking bay, alongside the mercenaries. Smoke billowed up from the destruction, and Mezec looked around the area, looking everywhere he could through the cameras the ship had for any view of his friend. Nothing. Nothing. Where is he? Mezec could feel his chest tighten, his wound beginning to grow worse and worse as his mental state slipped. It was then that a bloody hand was placed on Mezec's shoulder. Mezec swirled around in his chair and saw the battered and bruised human standing above him, that same crazy smile playing across his lips. "Hell of a shot, Mezec." The Elder took another blow of his pipe, his mandibles clicking together as he finished speaking. The bar was silent, as was I. We were stunned. Humans were known to be durable, but to survive all of that? It was otherworldly. Impossible. The Elder let out the smoke once again, and met my stunned gaze. "Berserker, in its most raw description for my people, is another word for human.